Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. My name is Leah Cruz, and I'm with Healing Yourself Holistically. And today we're going to go over a whole body detox system, meaning how we get toxins in our body, where they might come from, the effects they have on the body that might lead to chronic symptoms, disease, illness, and then natural holistic methods to remove these toxins from our body naturally. So we're going to go all over this today to make sure that you're aware of just how easy and simple it is to do a natural detox on yourself. Fantastic. Let's just jump right into this. Here we go. All right. So first, let's take a look at different type of toxins that might be able to get inside the body. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the average body contains about 700 chemicals. Wow, right? I know that sounds like a big number. It is a big number. To think that 700 toxic chemicals are in an average person's body every day. Wow, these might be causing, all these unwanted symptoms, digestive issues, and disease and illness over long term that we might not even be aware of. So let's take a look at the different types of toxins that might be getting into our body. The first one is chemical toxins. These can be anything from pesticides and herbicides that usually come from produce and crops that are grown. These are sprayed on them. Fertilizers as well are used to grow them. These are all chemical toxic products that are absorbed into the plant that are transferred then to the grain or the fruit or vegetables that are grown. And then when we ingest them, they are transferred into our body as well. So we need to be aware that sometimes some of the foods we buy aren't as safe and as fresh as we think. As well as manufactured foods we need to be aware of. These are going to contain preservatives, chemicals, additives, dyes, etc. These are usually used as preservatives so that they have a longer shelf life or that they can stay stable in a box, a carton, a can, etc. These are all natural, are not all natural. So these, when they get absorbed into our body, are going to wreak havoc as well, because they have a toxic property. As well as prescription drugs. These are synthetic chemicals that are used when developing most prescription drugs, and taken long term over time, some of these chemicals might be leaching into our bodies and causing issues as well. Heavy metals is the second type of toxin we might not be aware of. These are usually going to come from fish and seafood that come out of the oceans, lakes, or streams that the fish might be consuming, and then they get embedded into their flesh. And then when we eat that seafood, it is then transferred into our body. So we need to be careful about the quality and types of seafoods that we're consuming. The best is always to go wild instead of farmed is always usually the safest. Cooking with aluminum pans sometimes, if it's a cheap aluminum pan or doesn't have a good coating, that aluminum can start to leach into the food we cook in it. So we need to be very careful about that, as well as canned foods. The aluminum cans are supposed to be sealed with a plastic seal so that the aluminum doesn't leach into the food that's in them. But sometimes if the can is old, could be damaged, or just a cheaply processed can, sometimes that aluminum can leach into the food product, and then we consume it, it gets transferred into our bodies. And contaminants in our drinking water can contain quite a few bits of heavy metals that we might not be aware of that can be transferred into our bodies just through the water we drink, that we might be aware of. Parasites is another type of toxin. These can enter our body through our food and drink that we're orally ingesting. These can be anything from foodborne parasites to parasites that might be, or pathogens that might be in our water source, as well as during manufacturing processes. These parasites might be getting into our food through pests that might be in the manufacturing plants. Poor handling and storage can cause bacteria and germs in the food if it's not processed properly. So we need just to be aware that sometimes these parasites can sneak into our bodies through the food and drink that we eat, and we might not even be aware of it till it's too late. Insects can also transmit parasites into our bodies when they bite us. That is transferred then into our bloodstream and transferred throughout our bodies. These can happen from mosquitoes, lice, bed bugs, ticks, and mites, just to name a few pests that can transfer these deadly parasites into our bodies. And the last type of toxin is just our general everyday products that we use that we might not even be aware of. Beauty products and cleaning products, these usually contain synthetics, dyes, stabilizers, preservatives that give us the product that has a shelf life, that smells good, that absorbs into our body the way we want it to. Usually these are all unnatural chemicals in these products, unless they are all natural beauty and cleaning products. And these all have chemicals. We're either putting them on our body, or when we're cleaning, we're touching them, or we could even be spraying these things, whether it be hairspray, mousse, a cleaning product, and we're inhaling that as well. So those are the ways that those toxins can get into our bodies. Environmental pollutants is another toxin as well. These can be anything from smog to dust and debris. If you're a farmer and you're spraying these pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers that are airborne, they can be inhaled into our body as well. So we need to be careful about all environmental pollutants around us that we can control at least. And another one that you might not even think of is paints and fire retardants. Usually, when you paint, you're supposed to wear a mask to protect, so you're not inhaling some of those harmful toxins. But fire retardants, you might not realize, these are usually put on new mattresses, couches, anything that has a fabric that you might buy that the company might want to be stain proof or water resistant. These are usually sprayed with a chemical called a fire retardant or a waterproof sealant. These are all chemicals. And if we're sitting on the couch or laying in the bed, these can be transferred into our skin and into our bodies as well. So we just need to be aware. There's many facets of toxins from different areas and products that can that could weasel our way into our body. And that's how these 700 chemicals, we might not even think, I'm not even around that many chemicals, but there's a lot of chemicals out there that we don't even realize. So we need to be aware of these so that we can be more conscious to stay away from these. All right, let's look at how toxins might get into our body. There's 3 ways toxins can be absorbed into our body. The first one is ingestion, which is carried into the digestive tract through food and drink, like we mentioned earlier. These are, of course, going to be from foods that we eat that might contain the herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers. Also, they might contain preservatives, additives, dyes in them that are all toxic, that can get into our bodies through our food and drink through ingestion. They are then digested into our body, and our intestines are permeable, so they absorb those toxins, and then those will be absorbed into our blood and transferred throughout our bodies. That could cause problems anywhere in our bodies. The second way toxins might get into our body are through our skin contact or absorption. Anything that we put on our body or that we might wear up on, these are going to be absorbed into the skin through the epidermis layer, and they will then be absorbed into our bloodstream and carried out throughout our body. So we need to also be aware that contact on our skin, which is probably one of the most easiest ways that toxins get in our body. It's very important to maybe be careful about what you're putting on your body and what's around you that you might be touching. And the third one is inhalation. Toxins are inhaled into the lungs from environmental pollutants, chemical products that can become airborne. So a lot of times these things are out of our control, whether it be environmental pollutants, but there's a lot of other things that we can be very aware of, whether it be not being around smokers or stopping smoking, or maybe not using chemical candles or air fresheners. These all contain toxins that we breathe inside that could cause disease and illness long-term in our bodies. There's also some bad lifestyle habits that I wanted to make you aware of, because these over time are going to stunt our most important system in our body. Our body naturally has a detoxifying system that it goes through daily that involves several organs and systems in the body. It's a natural process that our body naturally does naturally detoxing and cleaning, not just our blood, but our cells, etc., making sure that any toxins that might get into our body are then removed through our body. But I wanted to point out some of these bad lifestyle habits that we might not even be aware of that are actually going to inhibit, weaken, or stunt this natural detoxification process. So let's take a look at a few. The first one is stress. Stress, as we know, is bad for our body in so many different ways, but as far as our detoxification system is it inhibits our body's natural ability to detox. The system becomes overwhelmed, inflamed, weakened, and it's not going to be able to do its job naturally. So we need to make sure that we're aware, conscious, and proactive about maintaining or reducing our stress in our daily lives. Poor sleep is another biggie. Poor sleep, if we're deprived of this, our body is not going to have the opportunity to go into that overnight detoxification cleaning process that I just mentioned earlier, that's going to be helping and aiding in removing these toxins from our body naturally. So we need to make sure that we're trying to get plenty of sleep if we can. An unhealthy diet, as mentioned earlier, this is going to not just slow our metabolism, give us digestive issues, but it's also going to cause toxin buildup. Usually if we're eating unhealthy diet, it's going to be preservative foods, GMO foods, foods that contain these toxins from this unhealthy diet, and these are going to help build onto the toxins that are already into our body, because we're putting more into our body every day through our diet. As well as if our digestive system is being stunted, it's not going to be able to properly eliminate a lot of these toxins from our foods, and they will be reabsorbed into our body. So you need to make sure that we're eating healthy, whole foods. We'll go into that a little bit more in depth later in the slides. Smoking is another big no-no. Continued chemical nicotine absorption is being absorbed into our lungs through the airborne smoke. And this is not just if you're a smoker, but if you are an innocent secondhand smoke bystander, this is also you're inhaling this, and these toxins, these harmful nicotine toxins are getting into your body. So we need to stay clear of that. Dehydration is another one we might not think about, but water is essential to every function in our body, as well as detoxification. If we're dehydrated, it's going to stunt our body's natural ability to detox through our kidney, blood, and sweat. Of course, these all need water to function properly, and we need that water fluidity to carry the toxins out of our body, usually through our urine, stool, or sweat. So if we're dehydrated, these processes aren't going to work as efficiently to detox. The last one is lack of exercise. This is going to, of course, cause hormone imbalances, which are going to stunt your body's detoxification process, but it's also going to cause poor circulation in the body, which means that these toxins aren't going to be able to be circulated out properly to the systems that are going to remove them from the body. And we're not going to be sweating if we're not exercising as much. And that is another method that our body naturally detoxes. We just need to be aware of some of these habits, bad habits that we might not be aware of, that aren't just affecting our general health and our state of mind, but also could be affecting our body's natural abilities to detoxify. All right, let's also take a look at foods that might be causing inflammation in the body we might not be aware of. I like to point this out because usually when there's inflammation in the body, it is causing buildup of more toxins as well as other chronic issues in the body. But this inflammation also is going to weaken or inhibit our body's natural detoxification process, as well as increasing toxin buildup. So let's take a look at this just so we're aware of some of these foods we might not even realize cause inflammation in the body. The first one is meat. When I say meat, I'm talking about farm-raised meat. These are going to be fed GMO grains usually. These are going to be pumped with hormones. So this is how certain meat can cause inflammation in the body. It's going to cause not just gut inflammation, but it's going to imbalance your insulin. You're going to see a lot more insulin spikes, which is not good, can over time cause diabetes and other health issues. Dairy products is another really important one. As we know, if they dairy comes from animals that are fed hormones, it's GMO grains. All these things are going to leach into their milk, the eggs that are then made into dairy products. And that's how these hormones and toxins are going to be transferred into our body if we consume these. They're going to cause imbalance in our hormones, can lead to lactose intolerance over time, a yeast overgrowth in our intestines, as well as raising our cholesterol and other issues like hypertension. So we need to be aware and maybe just limit or reduce if we're overeating dairy products. Or I recommend eating more grass-fed organic dairy, as well as um, grass-fed organic meats as well. That's a good way to go. If not saying you have to cut out these foods from your diet, but just be smart about the type of these products that you're buying and the location and source they're coming from. The second one is gluten or GMO. Gluten is more specific. These are genetically modified crops. And when we eat these crops, those genetically modified DNA are going to get into our body and disrupt our DNA and our cells, and are going to lead to inflammation and other health issues. For the most part, usually gluten is notorious for causing gut inflammation and chronic digestive issues, whether they be gas, bloating, can lead to chronic Crohn's disease, IBS, other really uncomfortable and unhealthy digestive issues usually are occurred because we're eating GMO gluten. For this one, another good substitute is to just eat organic, whole grain breads and pastas when possible. These are usually grown with non-GMO, non-fertilized, non-pesticide grains and gluten that will not cause these overall issues. High sugar is a number one no-no, especially if you're talking about inflammation. Sugar is the number one bad boy on its list. Sugar loves to cause inflammation all over the body. And in our typical American diet, we consume, of course, loads and loads more sugar than needed. So we need to, all of us probably could be very aware of this and start making changes to remove a little bit of sugar out of everyone's diets. Sugar is going to help increase uric acid, which is going to cause many issues throughout the body, as well as one of the most familiar is going to be gout, which is inflammation in the joints, arthritis, osteoporosis, etc. Insulin resistance, it'll create over time, which is not good because that'll lead to prediabetes and type 1 and 2 diabetes over time. But sugar actually helps promote the bad gut bacteria in our gut, kills all the good and promotes the bad gut bacteria. This will cause inflammation in the gut. You'll eventually have digestive issues, and this will lead to poor immunity because our immunity comes from our good gut bacteria. And if that is weakened or depleted, then our immune system will go and we can deplete with that. So we need to be aware to cut some sugar, if not all sugar, from our diet if we can. Trans fats is another one. This one's going to lower our HDL, which is our good cholesterol, and raise our LDL, which is our bad cholesterol. Over time, this will lead to high cholesterol. It'll impair our arterial linings, which will over time can cause strokes, heart attacks, a lot of cardiac and circulation issues in the body, and of course, cause inflammation. This is usually from fast foods, processed foods, greasy, fatty foods. So we need to make sure that we're staying away from these no-no foods. Refined and processed carbs, this is another one that is a big deal in people's diets that we need to just be conscious about. These refined grains, of course, they're processed grains. They're usually coming from GMO gluten and grains. These are going to cause the growth of the bad gut bacteria, inflammation in the gut, leading to digestive problems, and over time will lead to obesity because these are full of simple carbs that have no nutritional value at all. Alcohol is the last one, which I'm sure we're not surprised about. Alcohol can lead to insulin resistance, inflammation in the gut. This is usually because alcohol kills all your good gut bacteria in your belly and inhibits your immune system for over 24 hours. So we need to be aware that alcohol needs to be limited, if not cut out altogether. Of course, it also weakens your liver and causes leaky gut and other permeability issues in your intestine. So we just need to be aware of these foods that some of them make sense, or we might think, oh, okay, but there's a lot of other ones that we might not be aware of that we might be eating, thinking that they're healthy foods. So I just wanted to point these out to you so we can make smart, educated choices when we go to the grocery store. All right. Now, let's take a look at the negative effects these toxins might be having on our bodies. Now, like I said, there's average of 700 chemical toxins in our body. These are going to be circulated from our blood to every area in our body. So it's not a surprise that we're not seeing issues of inflammation or chronic symptoms just in one area. It's going to be throughout the body, especially if we're not detoxifying our body. Our natural detoxification process is being stunted or weakened over time, and we are daily putting more and more toxins into our body. So this is where these are going to be causing chronic disease and illness all over and throughout our body. So we need to be very conscious about this. So let's take a look at some of the more consistent ones that come about with toxicity in the body. The first one is going to be, it's going to hit our digestive system. This is usually one of the first areas that you're going to notice, because when we're orally consuming food or drink, the digestive system is the first area that's usually going to get hit, that we'll start seeing immediate symptoms. We're going to start seeing digestive issues. It could be anything small, from indigestion, a consistent gas, bloating, as well as constipation, diarrhea. That'll eventually turn into digestive disorders, which are going to be very uncomfortable. These are going to be Crohn's, IBS, leaky gut, that will occur with toxins buildup in our body over time. It's also going to kill our gut microbiome and promote bad gut bacterial overgrowth, which will lead to, of course, this digestive disorders, and will weaken our immune system. So usually the digestive system, if you're having these digestive issues, weakened immunity, it's kind of a red flag for you that there's probably toxins in your body that need to be detoxed regularly. This is a great way to be able to identify toxins in your body so that you can be proactive quicker before some of these other issues pop up in our body that might be harder to heal over time. But if we can nick it in the butt right away, then you're more than likely able to avoid any of these other chronic issues. The brain is another one that toxins will affect. Usually you'll start seeing brain fog, poor memory, weak cognition, hard to focus, hard to learn, hard to remember things. Also lead to fatigue, low energy. You're going to be chronically tired all the time, no matter how much you sleep. It'll also over time lead to headaches, migraines, and will disrupt our sleep patterns. So we're going to have trouble sleeping, staying asleep, going to sleep, etc. The skin is also hit. This is another area that usually you'll see in the beginning stages of toxins, because when the toxins hit the blood, usually you'll start seeing this inflammation or toxic symptoms in our skin. You'll start seeing skin disorders such as irritation, rashes that can turn into dermatitis, eczema, psoriasis. So usually if you're having any skin disorders, it's that toxic inflammation being caused on your skin's top epidermis layer. So this is another red flag for us, that if we're seeing this, that we might need to start detoxing our body. Inflammation is also another red flag. This is going to show up in our body as joint pain, muscle aches, allergies of any kind, whether they be respiratory allergies, skin allergies, food allergies is another one. All of a sudden people develop food allergies out of nowhere, and usually this is a sign that our body needs to be detoxed, because it has having that inflammatory reaction. That's what allergies are in the body. So as well as it will increase our risk of cancer, because we're having these toxic chemicals in our bodies for long term. Over time, they will start to mutate some of these cells, which can become cancerous cells. So we need to be very, very conscious about detoxifying our bodies when we're able to. It'll also have reproductive issues in the body. You'll start seeing infertility, start seeing some sexual disorders, painful periods, prolonged or no bleeding in a menstruation cycle. Some of these issues are usually caused by toxins buildup that is disrupting our body's natural reproductive cycles. Our heart is the last one, but it is a major one, more the less. This one, toxins will start causing heart issues, poor circulation in the body. Like I said, they're going to damage not just weaken our circulation, but damage our arterial linings, which could lead to high blood pressure, strokes, cardiac issues. So we need to definitely be aware of toxins so that we can maintain our health and longevity in our bodies. So I just wanted to point out some of these so that you can be aware of some of these toxic red flags that might become occurring and causing symptoms in our body, so that you can go ahead and start being proactive about detoxifying your body when needed. So let's take a look at those systems in the body that aid in the detoxification process that your body does naturally. You have quite a few organs that have very important roles in detoxifying your body naturally. And it's fantastic that we have these here because we, of course, I recommend detoxifying ourselves, but when we're not able to every day, our body is there to protect us and give us that natural detoxification process, which is amazing. So let's take a look at some of these organs that might be helping to detoxify the body. The first one is the brain. The brain lymphatic system detoxes our brain by removing insoluble proteins, waste products, and extracellular fluid that might be causing toxin backup in our brains. The lungs detox by removing gases in the air we breathe. So it's kind of that natural filtering of those toxins that might be inhaled through air and other pollutants. The skin detoxes by sweating to remove toxins that may be absorbed into the skin, which we mentioned earlier. Sweating, of course, is our body's natural detoxification process that we do hopefully every day that we might not realize. And usually people think, ooh, sweating is gross, I don't want to sweat. But when you really think about it, your body's naturally detoxing. So sweating, it can be a good thing. Don't be scared to sweat. The liver filters blood and removes any toxins that might be in the blood. This is very, very important organ because a lot of times, whether we inhale, absorb through our skin or digest, it's usually the toxins are brought into our bloodstream, which are then carried throughout our body that can start affecting every area in our body. So it's very, very important when we're doing a detox that we're making sure that we are doing a liver detox and supporting our liver to be healthy and happy. So it's doing this natural filtering of our blood daily. The kidneys is also very important. These are going to filter toxins out of our blood and remove it through our urine. So when we're urinating daily, we're removing toxins, uric acid and stuff that our body does not need. So that is the way our kidneys naturally detox. The lymphatic system as well, we might not be aware of, but the lymphatic system is going to be circulating, clearing out dead blood cells, helping to produce antibodies, which help with our immune system, as well as circulates waste throughout the body so that they can then be removed. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our lymphatic system clear and open so that it can circulate these toxins in and out of our bodies. And now, of course, our digestive system, which we keep covering, this is going to be our gut and intestines are going to be removing unwanted waste, either through defecation of our stool, which is waste products our body does not need, or it will do a natural vomiting process if we're having any toxins that are going to be a high toxicity quality or something that our body does not want in it. Then our vomiting process is another way of getting those toxins out of our body quickly. So all of these are very essential for detoxing our body naturally. So we need to make sure that we're also taking care of these systems in our body and nurturing them so that they can be healthy and do their jobs that they need to do for detoxification. So let's take a look at some natural holistic ways to detox. We're going to go over a little bit in depth, just looking at a healthy diet, herbal supplements that can all help as a natural holistic way to detox, as well as proper hydration is another really important one. Promoting circulation in the body. This can be done through massage and dry brush. Exercising and stretching is another great way to detox. Cleansing the bowels is very important to make sure that we're getting these toxins out of our body naturally. Meditation is another great way. Being outside in nature and purifying the air that we breathe. These are all great ways that are easy and simple for us to naturally detox when needed. So let's take a look at the first one, detoxifying through a healthy natural diet. This is very important. This is probably one of the best things you can do to just naturally be detoxing without even realizing it. We can do it through food. A lot of times these foods are natural detoxification properties in them, nutrients and vitamins that we might not even be aware of that are helping and aiding in that detoxification process. A healthy and balanced diet, of course, is not just needed for your health. This is all fresh produce and vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, healthy fats, and protein are all needed to keep your body healthy and happy, but also to support the organs in your body that are needed for detoxification and to make sure that toxins are emitted and not reabsorbed into our bodies through our diet. A lot of these foods that are great for natural detoxification are cruciferous vegetables, leafy greens, citrus. Garlic and ginger are number ones for helping to naturally detoxify, as well as green tea, beets, berries, and turmeric. These are just a few of my favorites. The picture I have on the screen up to your left, it just has a lot of other natural detoxification foods that complement those different detoxification organs I mentioned earlier in the body. So if you're looking maybe to support your kidneys health, making sure maybe you're not urinating as much or having issues urinating, then you can incorporate some of these food items into your diet. That'll help promote and support your kidneys and bring them back to its health. Proper hydration is, of course, important. I mentioned earlier, we need to make sure that we're drinking plenty of water. Of course, our body needs water just to maintain in general and support all of our systems in the body, but it's also very important for detoxification. We just want to make sure that we're drinking plenty of water. 6 to 8 glasses is what I like to recommend daily. We need to make sure that this hydration is optimal in our body so that we are able to properly sweat and urinate so that our body is doing that natural detoxification process. I always like to recommend, if you're not too big on drinking water, that you can substitute and do lemon water, cucumber water, green tea. These are all have natural detoxification, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties in these foods that you can add that have in your to your beverage list that will make sure that you're staying hydrated, but also have these health promoting properties in them. Herbal supplements is another great way if you want to add or supplement to your detoxification process. These are just natural herbs and spices that you can add to your diet that are going to help and support detoxification naturally. A few of my favorites, Mimosa pudica, Triphala, bentonite clay, and furbic acid are just to name a few. There's quite a few amazing, gentle detoxification herbs out there that will support and aid in your detoxification process. The last one, but I think the most important, is we need to make sure that we're cleansing our bowels. And when I mean cleansing your bowels, we just need to make sure that we are going to the restroom daily. Now, to some people, it might be like, oh, of course I go to the restroom every day, but there's a lot of people out there that might not go every day. When I mean go every day, I mean defecating. This is very, very important because our stool is our body's natural way to remove anything through our diet and through our bodies that are unwanted and unnecessary. Usually our stool is what contains these unwanted toxins, parasites that our body is trying to get rid of through defecation. But when we're not going to the restroom every day, The issue is the stool is still being made because we're still eating food. So when we are not removing it from our body daily, it's going to sit in our large intestines, and our large intestines is very permeable membrane. And what happens is these toxic stools are just going to sit in there, and for a day or two if you're not going to the restroom every day, and these toxins will then be reabsorbed into your bloodstream and carried throughout your body. So it's kind of essential to be going to the restroom every day, because if not, you're going to be reabsorbing all these toxins your body's worked so hard to get rid of through your stool. And there's easy ways to do this. You can take natural herbs, you can drink warm beverages right before bed. One of my favorites and most easy, gentle methods is the herbal supplement that I mentioned above, Triphala. It's super easy to do. You take it right before bed. It's not going to be a crazy laxative. It just gently does its job at night. So then when you wake up in the morning, you have a natural bowel movement. So this is one that a lot of my clients love, because you're not going to have to worry about being near a bathroom. It's just naturally gives you that urge to go to the bathroom when you're ready to go to the bathroom. So these are just a few things that are very, very important that we can do through our diet, and that'll affect our digestive system to help us naturally detox our body. Let's take a look at some other ways where we can detox naturally. The first is we can promote or increase our circulation in our bodies, because this is going to help move these toxins to the organs that will help remove them from our body naturally. You can do this either through massage, you can get a massage, you can do a self massage. What this does is just going to promote the circulation of blood and lymph in your body, which are the two systems that are going to help transport those toxins out of your body. Dry brushing is another really good one. It's going to promote detoxification naturally, as well as this circulation throughout the body. And stretching is another one that's really good. Simple and easy. We should be stretching every day to make sure that we're keeping our muscles and bones supported. We'll usually have less aches, pains, and inflammation. So this is a really good one that you should just naturally do every day. That is going to help and support detoxification. Exercise is another one that's a really great natural way to detox. It's going to help promote sweating in the body, as well as improves your circulation, as well as, of course, has other health benefits as well. Meditation is one we might not think of when we think of detoxification, but meditation is really going to help reduce stress and cortisol levels, which, like I mentioned earlier, could weaken or inhibit your detoxification process in your body. So meditation is a really easy way to help reduce stress and cortisol levels, which will have not just a positive impact on your detoxification systems, but of course your brain, your health in general. So I recommend meditation. Being outside in nature and the sun, this is going to help support your parasympathetic system, which is our body's natural system that naturally heals and detoxifies the body. And another one I really like to recommend is, let's try to purify the air that we breathe. The air we can control is where? The air in our house, for the most part, and the air in our vehicles. Sometimes we, of course, can't control the air when we're outside or in our work environment, but if you can control the air we breathe 50% of the time at home or in your car, then why not, right? You can do this by easy things, adding plants, plants in your home. You can even add a plant on your desk and your office. It's going to be filtering some of that carbon and toxins out of the air so that you're breathing natural oxygen. Have an air purifier in your home or around you. This is another great way that's going to purify the air you breathe. Aromatherapy is really good. This is going to help filter the air, as well as some of these essential oils can also stimulate naturally, when you inhale them, detoxification process in your body. And air filters are very important. We need to make sure we're changing air filters in our air conditioning and heating systems in our house and cars. We might not even think about doing this, but these over time will build up dust, pollen, and pollutants that we might not even be aware of. And if we don't change these regularly, then they're going to be repumped through the air we're breathing And that's how a lot of toxins can get into our lungs that we might not even be aware of. So just be conscious of maybe changing these regularly. The last one, and one of my favorites, is we just need to be conscious about the beauty and cleaning products that we're using. These usually are coming in contact with our skin and causing a lot of these issues. But there's an easy fix to that. Let's just try to switch to all natural products work exactly the same. I think personally, I've used all natural cleaning and beauty products, and I actually see more benefits than disadvantages to that. So I would say, maybe pick one cleaning product and one beauty product and just switch it over and see what you think. But what's amazing is, the money you're spending, at least you know that what you're putting on your body for is also not doing extra damage to your body, because when you're using these synthetic, additive, unnatural cleaning and beauty products, you're paying all this money for something that you're putting on your body that's causing more damage to your body than good. So it's very, very smart to start slowly switching these products to all natural products. So these are just some ways, easy ways that you can do to help naturally promote this natural detoxification process in your body that you can do around you. But what about if you want to detox and do the additional detoxing? Well, you can do it through herbs. This is my favorite. I've developed per request of my clients that my clients have been using. I use 3 times a year as well. I love it. It's super easy. I kind of take the brain work out of it. I've hand formulated all the teas and herbal capsules. They're all natural, all gentle products being used. It's super easy. So it's a 7-day program, and it's going to detoxify your whole body. When I say whole body, we're talking about all those detoxification organs I mentioned earlier, your liver, your digestion, your lymphatic system, your brain. All of these things are going to target and complement all those and hit all those organs, as well as going to make sure that it's helping to remove heavy metals and parasites, not just toxins from your body. So it's kind of I formulated it to kind of just do a good deep clean of your whole body to make sure that we're hitting all the areas that toxins can be built up and removing them naturally, easily, and gently and safely. So let's take a look at what's included in this. First, total detox pills are included in here. I hand formulate them with anti-parasitic, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory herbs that are going to aid in detoxification of harmful toxins, heavy metals, and parasites. To complement those, I've also included triphala pills. These are going to help balance your digestive system, as well as helping to detoxify your digestive system with a blend of herbs that aid in those processes, as well as they're going to promote regular bowel movements, which I mentioned is very important to make sure that we're not reabsorbing any of these toxins. The detoxification tea in here that I've included is a blend of herbs and spices that's going to naturally cleanse any unnecessary toxins and waste from the body naturally. And the CCF tea is going to aid and help in balancing the digestive system and alleviate any digestive disorders. So this is fantastic because let's say you might be having digestive upsets. Right now, the CCFT is, of course, going to help detoxify your body, but it's also going to help alleviate a lot of these digestive imbalances to get your digestive system strong and healthy. What's fantastic about this is it's kind of a 2-punch thing. So the total detox pills and the detox tea are going to help naturally and gently remove any toxin buildup in your body. And it's going to be followed up by the triphala and CCFT, which are going to help restore and balance these systems after we've cleared out all the toxins. These are going to help bring down inflammation, get all these organs and body systems of the body running back to normal. So we're not just doing one thing, we're detoxifying, but also we're balancing and nourishing and rebuilding. So that's why I really love this system, and my clients love this system, because It's easy to do, and your body feels great just after 7 days. You're going to feel like a totally different person, be sleeping better, have more energy, have a more balanced digestion, etc., etc. And included in here, I like to also add a copper tongue scraper. If you haven't heard of a tongue scraper, this is one of the best practices in detoxification to remove any buildup toxins that might be coming up on the tongue that you shed throughout the night. Using the tongue scraper can help you easily remove these toxins from the tongue better than a toothbrush can. Now, you might not be aware, but notice when you wake up in the morning, you usually have kind of this slimy texture on your tongue, on your lips, on your mouth. When you stick out your tongue, you might have a white coating or excess saliva, and then you usually have that kind of bad breath. So that's what makes us want to get up and brush our teeth right away, just to get all of that gunk out of there. Well, what that gunk is when we sleep, our body is naturally detoxifying, not just shedding our skin cells, our hair, and internally detoxifying is we're getting rid of that through our tongue and oral cavity as well. So it's very important to be able to clear that out first thing in the morning, because what normally happens is people wake up and what do? You get up and you usually don't brush your teeth right away. You get up and probably have a cup of tea or coffee in the morning. And what you're doing is when you're drinking that, you're washing all those toxins back into the body. So it's a really great practice when first thing in the morning when you wake up, whether you go to the restroom or whatever, is you just scrape that tongue and rinse your mouth out with some water, if not brush your teeth. Because that's going to get that all those toxins your body has shed throughout the night. So this is another great way and practice to naturally detox your body. That's very simple and easy. If you're interested in this whole body detox program, you can find more information about it or purchase it at my website, healingyourselfholistically.com. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or put it in the chat. But this is just a really easy way to lead you through detoxing your whole body. That's a no-brainer. That's been proven and successful. I use it on myself. My family uses it. So definitely I encourage you to give it a try and see how you feel after 7 days. You will feel amazing, I guarantee it. So thank you for joining me today. Healing Yourself Holistically. Would love to get started with you on detoxifying your body and mind naturally. If you have any more questions, more information, you'll find on my website, healingyourselfholistically.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.